Hello, dear students. Today we are learning about solutions, colloids, and suspensions. Did you hear about these three all? You all may know about solutions. Okay, the previous classes and all we are learning solutions, and the solutions, different types of solutions we see in our previous classes. Okay, do you have any idea about what is colloid and what is suspension? Have you? Okay, now we can see a picture. In this one, what all are we are seeing? The first one is a salt water solution, and the second one is flour which is suspended in water, and the third one is milk. Okay, have you seen any difference in these three solutions? What we can see in salt water? Have you observed any particles inside the salt water? No, we cannot observe any particles. The salt is completely mixed in water. So we cannot separate that salt from this water, and we cannot see the salt in water. Okay, the salt is completely dissolved in water. What in the case of flour? Is the flour is mixed well with water? Can you try this in your home? In these three, we can see that in some of this one, the solutions are not evenly distributed the particles. The particles inside the solutions are not evenly distributed. But in the case of true solution, that is the salt water solution, that is a true solution, that the particles completely dissolved in water. But the case of suspension and colloid, what we can see in milk? If we are taking a milk, and we can observe the milk glass from one side to another side like a mirror, we cannot see, no. But in the case of salt water, if we are taking the salt water in a glass, we can observe the other side also. But in the case of milk, we cannot observe. What in the case of suspension? In the case of suspension, that is the flour is mixed with water, we can see a small particles of the flour that is not mixed with water. Okay, the particles are not evenly mixed with water. So we can say there is three type of solutions are there. That is true solutions, suspensions, and colloids. Okay. The differences of what three particles are what? In this type of solutions, the particle size are given. From this, we can see that the particle size of the true solution, is less than 10 raised to minus 7 centimeter. We cannot see the particles in the true solution. These particles are very tiny. We cannot separate that particles. We cannot see that particles in our naked eyes. So the particle size is very small. And also we can say that a little amount of the solution containing a large number of molecules. Okay. The case of colloid, what we can say? In a colloidal solution, the particle size is between 10 raised to 7 centimeter and 10 raised to minus 5 centimeter. The particle size is 10 raised to minus 7 centimeter and 10 raised to minus 5 centimeter. In between these two. Okay, the what in the case of suspension? The particle size greater than 10 raised to minus 5 centimeter. A particle size is greater than 10 raised to minus centimeter. So we can say the particle size of the true solutions is very small, And the case of suspension, the particle size is larger compared to these true solutions. We can see each particle separately. The first one is colloids. Here we can see some examples of colloidal system from our daily life. Okay, this what all are we can say: foams, milk, fog, smoke, detergents, cosmetics items, paints, blood, aerosol. These all are the examples for colloidal system. Okay. Then we can say that colloidal system means what? What is a colloidal system? From this example, we get some ideas about this colloidal system. Okay, did you got any idea about this? Can you got any features of this colloidal system? Is that colloidal system is a heterogeneous mixture or a homogeneous mixture? Can you find that? Okay. Students, we are learning what is colloid. Okay, what is a colloid? A heterogeneous mixture of intermediate sized particles that do not settle out. Okay, colloidal system, that means that is a heterogeneous mixture. Colloidal is a heterogeneous mixture. In the previous slide, we learned the particle size of the colloid system. What's the particle size of colloidal system? That's the size of the particle is in between 10 raised to minus 7 centimeter and 10 raised to minus 5 centimeter. So, we can say that a colloid is a heterogeneous mixture of intermediate sized particles. The particle size in between true solution and suspension. The particle size is 10 raised to in between 10 raised to minus 7 centimeter and 10 raised to minus 5 centimeter. So that do not settle out. Here we can say more examples of colloidal system, that are fog, whipped cream, mayo, smoke, etc. These all are examples for colloidal system. So the next one is suspension. What's the particle size of suspension? Okay, we can say suspension is a heterogeneous mixture with big particle that settle out when left undisturbed. Okay, the case of colloidal system is that settle out or not? A colloidal system, the particles are not settled down. Okay, but the case of suspension, if we are left that particle undisturbed, that means the particles inside that solution is settled down easily. Okay, if we are mixing a chalk, the chalk powders in water, what we can observe? If you are mixing chalk powder into water, what we can observe? Is that mixed well? Or the particles we can say in naked eyes? The particles we can see in naked eyes. Yes, that's right. We can see the particles because the particle size is very large. So, the liquids that need to be shaken well before using. If we are using this suspension, what we can observe? That we should shake before we are using that suspension. Okay, in some oils and all, sometimes the impurities and all, if are presenting in that solutions like oils and etc., that will settle down and the pure substances will comes up. Okay, like that the suspensions, if you are lefting that suspension undisturbed, means that will settle down. And here we can say some examples for suspension. What are the examples for suspension? oil and vinegar dressing muddy water. If you are mixing this oil and vinegar, what we can observe, that solutions the oil and vinegar are not mixed easily. We can separate easily that oil and vinegar. And also in the case of muddy water, the particle size is big and that is a heterogeneous mixture. Okay. Here we can see the true solution, suspension. Okay. In this case, what we can observe, in the case of true solutions, we cannot see the particles because the particles are evenly distributed in the solution. But what in the case of suspension? The particles are not evenly distributed. We can separate that particles. If you have kept that suspension solution undisturbed, the particles will settle down. Okay, so we can say that the particles are settled down like a precipitate. Finally, we got a residue of suspension. If you are left that suspension undisturbed, we get a residue. Okay. So, we are seeing solutions, that is true solutions, colloids and suspensions. Okay. From all these three, we can separate that solutions like what is true solution, colloidal and suspension. In these three, the particle size is different. And in the case of true solution, is that homogeneous or heterogeneous? Okay, the next class you should find that. Okay, the true solution is the homogeneous mixture or heterogeneous mixture. And the case of colloid and suspension, you should find more examples for colloidal systems and these suspensions. Okay, I hope you all may understood the topics of colloid, true solution, suspension. If you have any doubt, you should ask with me. Okay. Okay, thank you.